Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'd like to call the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners special meeting to order. Safety instructions, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call Ms. Best to give us our safety.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the 2 doors to your right, and then proceed to the nearest stairwell, directions to which are indicated by the exit signs. Once you exit the building, we ask that you safely cross Granville Street, which is the street that runs beside our building, to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance as needed. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room into the hallway where we will all remain until it is safe to exit. In any event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Ms. Harris. Right.
Let's bow. Dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for another day of life, health, and strength. Lord, we thank you for those that are here, those who may be on the way. Lord, we ask you to continue to give us the strength to make the right decisions for our citizens of Edgecombe County. This we pray in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Schedule appointments, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We received a request from Harrison Fire Department and Battleboro to increase their fire tax from 12 cents per $100 in value to 14.5 cents. Provided in your packet is a copy of their requests and related documents. There are representatives here tonight from the fire department who will present their justification for their request. I do want to note, and you'll see there's information in your packet, their fire department as a board voted on January 31st to request the fire tax increase, and also they held the required public hearing on March the 14th. So I would recommend that those representatives come and present to the board.
Please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to come and plead for our increase of funds for the Battleboro Rural Fire Department.
Please state your name, please.
My name is Robbie Stokes. I'm president of the Battleboro Community Development Fire Department, and with me is the chief, Jim Hardy,
All right.
with the department. And in your packet was the justification, if you will, for the increase. Would you like for me to read that for the public?
It's up to you. We've gotten it. It's up to you. You can, sir, please.
Thank you, sir. The Battleboro Rural Fire Department, Harrison Fire District is requesting a fire tax rate increase from 12 cents to 14.5 cents per $100 valuation. The tax rate increase was approved by the current fire department's board of directors on January the 31st. The tax rate increase is needed for several reasons. And they are since COVID, and yeah, we're still blaming stuff on COVID, but it is a fact that we've seen approximately a 46% increase in the cost of fire and emergency service vehicles, 30% increase in fire department equipment and PPE, and the maintenance on the vehicles and equipment and the labor cost to repair those has significantly increased over several years. We plan to continue day staffing. We have day staffing from 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, and we've added also now a nighttime shift from Thursday to Sundays. Being weekends was people going out of town, we saw that need to get the county covered sufficiently.
Let me ask you a question. You still cover the Battleboro area too, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Rocky Mount does not. Oh, they might back here.
Well, now, let me correct you. Myself, I just told you something wrong.
Yeah.
Where the fire department stands is protected by the city of Rocky Mount.
Okay.
Outside the city limits, Battleboro is in. So after you leave, go across the railroad tracks to the old Jerry Bullock store, the Morning Star Church Road. The district starts back in Edgecombe County, and then we are all the way to approximately 97.
Okay. Excuse me for interrupting you.
No, sir. You helped me catch up. Thank you. Our department, along with other departments throughout the county, see the need for these positions and are trying to be proactive to continue providing high level of coverage to the citizens at a low cost. The request is also needed due to our department losing both of our largest fundraisers, one which was a trail ride that really helped us a lot throughout the year, but thanks to solar farms and logging and perhaps some other minor things, we've lost that opportunity to have that trail ride. We also had it's not a joke, we had a cow drop, and we also cooked ribs, and those ribs were a large part of our funds for the year. But due to the cost of food, due to the financial strain on people in the county, they were not able to support that as they did in years past, so we've had to do away with that. Finally, the tax increase will assist our department in the unknown. The proposed standard that was published in February 5th of '24 by OSHA's Emergency Response Standard. The proposed standard has entered public comment twice. The fire service is currently unsure how it is truly going to affect the volunteer and combination departments at this time, but if the standard is put into place as currently proposed, it is going to put a big financial strain on our department and our budget. Our department would like to thank you as commissioners for the support that you've provided our department in the past, and we look forward to continue to serve in Edgecombe County. We're providing the highest level of service to the citizens. I would like to note and put on record that Nash County has already approved the increase to 14.5 cents. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Mr. Stokes, I see you had a public meeting on the 14th of March.
I did, sir.
And I think it may, what I'm looking for may be included, but I can't read it. At that public hearing, can you tell me the approximate number of individuals that came by and gave you any input?
0.
Okay.
We also have the affidavit, or I don't know if that's the proper word, is the publisher's affidavit of where we published it in the paper at adequate time and made it public knowledge that we were having that, but there was 0 attendance, which actually 0 opposition.
As you would take it.
I've been on your trail ride most every year, so I hate that didn't occur.
That was very successful, and it was a great fundraiser for us, so thank you for participating in that. Any other questions?
Any questions? Hearing none from the board. Are we to vote on this now or vote with the budget? How are we to handle
You
this?
can vote on this now, and it will also be included in the budget that's before you.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, we will be dealing with that proposal in our budget.
The chief and the citizens of the community, thank you.
Just for an explanation, help explain us the fire department tax to the citizens, okay? In addition to, okay?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And so, in our county, as in many rural North Carolina counties, fire protection is provided by a number of volunteer fire departments, sometimes with paid staff. And a tax is levied and collected in each of those fire districts.
And it would be different.
It depends on the district, yes, sir. And so each district has the opportunity to determine, what their anticipated costs are and what revenues are needed to cover those costs. And they have the opportunity every year to come before you all to request their tax to be increased. But they have to make justification, as was done tonight. I believe we have 14 districts across the county. Some of them, as with Battleboro's fire department, crosses over a county line, and so it has to be approved on both sides of the county. That is collected separately, and those funds are collected by the county and held in trust and then turned over to the individual fire departments.
And who has to pay that tax? Every citizen or a citizen who owns property?
Citizens who own property within that fire district, yes, ma'am.
Moving on, next.
Next, Mr. Chairman, you have budget amendments for your consideration. There are 5 budget amendments that were in your packet. There are 2 additional at your place. We'd ask you to consider Adding, you'll see budget amendment number 1 is to ensure the budget reflects current debt service requirements based on finalized amortization schedules. The amendment provides for an adjustment to align the FY25 budget with the scheduled payments and minor interest variances. Budget amendment number 2 is to reallocate funds for vehicle repair that was funds that were received as part of an insurance claim. Budget amendment number 3 is to align funding between water districts for interest owed on USDA paid bond anticipation notes. This includes necessary inter-fund transfers. Budget amendment number 1, for those municipalities that we collect their taxes for them, we charge a 3% administrative fee. So this budget amendment is accounting for that administrative fee. It is then appropriating it as a revenue, the necessary transfer of funds, and then ultimately putting those funds into our health fund.
What did you say the number that was?
That
Is it 1? All right, okay.
budget, did I say 4? I said
Is it 1?
Oh, I said 1? Oh,
We got you.
thank you. It's been a long budget
Yes.
process. Budget amendment number 5, this is adjusting the budget transfer for the school capital reserve fund based on updated sales tax collections. And then the 2 added budget amendments number 6 and 7. These are adjusting budgets to adjust the budgets where lease payments are budgeted. These are done to adhere to the Government Accounting Standards Board, or GASB, rules that are fairly recent that determine how those are to be budgeted and appropriated. So I recommend that you approve budget amendments 1 through 7. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Webb, second, Ms. Harris. Do I remember? Okay. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Moving on to the next, consideration of approve revised project ordinance for EC Works. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. You previously approved a grant project ordinance for state grant funds received from Edgecombe Community College for the purpose of purchasing and repurposing the former incubator building at Fountain Park to the Edgecombe Works Career Campus. You also approved an amendment to appropriate interest that accrued. As we are preparing to bring this project to a close, we need to appropriate more interest that has accrued to the project. Therefore, presented for your consideration is the second amendment. I recommend that you approve the amendment number 2 of the grant project ordinance as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Ms. Harris makes motion second.
Second.
Ms. Powell seconds. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next, budget discussion and approval.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and you all have a copy of the budget message in your agenda packet for the public as well as for the record in tonight's meeting. I'm going to read through that budget message. Feel free to stop me at any time to ask any questions if you have any.
Go right ahead.
So I am pleased to submit the recommended Edgecombe County budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. The budget is balanced in its entirety as required by the North Carolina Local Budget and Fiscal Control Act. We have approached the preparation of this budget with the following goals in mind: avoiding adding new positions unless absolutely necessary, address critical capital needs, minimize fund balance use, evaluate assets and seek efficiencies, analyze immediate and future budget drivers, use debt strategically, align discretionary funding with the Getting Off the List initiative, follow the board-adopted fiscal policies, and ensure the budget reflects board priorities. Budget overview. The proposed ad valorem tax rate for FY26 is 89 cents per $100 in value, which is no change from the current tax rate. 1 cent of the tax rate generates $444,625 in revenue. The county's proposed budget for FY '26 totals $82,664,851. The proposed budget is an increase of $1,998,033, or 2.5 cents from the original budget of the current year. The proposed budget includes a fund balance appropriation of $10,667,101. This is an increase of $2,549,110 from the current year's original fund balance appropriation. As of the preparation of this budget message, our ad valorem tax collection rate for the current year, in your memo, it's 94.5 cents. A more updated number is 95.51%. We anticipate that at the close of the current fiscal year, our collection rate will be 96%. Our proposed tax revenue projections are based on a total taxable valuation of $4,446,235,933, including all real property, personal property, public utilities, and motor vehicles. This is an increase of $67,478,081 in value from last year. At an 89-cent tax rate and an anticipated collection rate of 96% for real property and 100% for motor vehicles, the projected revenues available will be $38,184,645. We are projecting $37,400,000 in ad valorem tax revenue, which represents approximately 47% of our total general fund revenues. Sales tax is our second largest revenue, 14%. Sales tax revenues increase by approximately 4% each year from FY '22 to FY '24. Though the current year-to-date sales tax revenues are expected to at least meet the budget, they are below what we collected at the same time last fiscal year. Therefore, we have budgeted total sales tax revenues flat for FY '26 for a total of $10,400,000. Some expenditure highlights. First, personnel. A cost of living adjustment of 2% is included in this budget. This COLA closely tracks the Consumer Price Index for the period from July 2024 through April of 2025. The cost to implement this COLA is approximately $684,000, including all benefits. This increase will help employees manage rising household costs and help us with retaining staff as the competition of labor continues to grow. Another critical component of our compensation plan is our health benefits program. Edgecombe County is self-insured, and therefore our costs are driven by our own claims. Due to an increase in claims over the last 2 years, we need to increase our premiums by 6%. This will ensure that we can adequately maintain sufficient appropriations in our health insurance fund to cover claims. The health plan will continue to include a health savings account, or HSA, option that includes a $750 contribution by the county. We will also continue to provide health screenings for all individuals covered by our plan. Individuals who choose not to participate in the screening will pay $53 per month towards the cost of their insurance. In addition to medical, dental, and life insurance, employees will continue to have several supplemental plans to select from. We will also continue to offer our Health Map RX program, which is a chronic disease management program for staff with diabetes. The Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, provides counseling and work-life support. $250 wellness incentive for meeting waist circumference goals or improving by 5%. And then our medical weight management program, which is available to employees with a BMI or body mass index of 40 or higher.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
just to highlight something there that I feel like we've talked about but just don't highlight as much is a lot of counties, we pay 100% of health benefits for our employees.
That's correct.
And a lot of counties are moving away from that and
That's
asking
correct.
employees to pay for that. So although we wish we could give more in a COLA, we made a decision to not increase health insurance premiums on the employees.
Yes, sir.
So although it seems kind of out of balance there, when we looked at our comparison to our peer counties, as we all did as a board, just for the public to know that a lot of our contemporary counties that are in our position are asking their employees to pay in or reducing coverage for their employees. So it is a big benefit that's built into that coverage.
Absolutely. Great point. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
about what is the average
The average.
cost for an employee, that we pay for an employee?
Oh, well,
Insurance.
our cost for employees is right at $13,000 a year
It's a big-
For each employee.
for each employee, yes.
Right.
So it's very expensive, and to Mr. Thorne's point, a lot of counties are having to make necessary adjustments, which we understand because it's very expensive. We've tried very hard to maintain the structure of our benefits plan as well as not pass any cost on to the employees. So thank you for pointing that out. For FY '26, we have placed 41 positions from 3 departments in reserve. These are positions that are needed for optimal service provision but have remained open for some time. Therefore, to mitigate the amount of fund balance needed, we have not budgeted them in next fiscal year. We will monitor the need for these positions and revisit the appropriation of funds for them if needed. There were 9 positions requested by 5 of our department heads. There's justification for adding these positions, as they would improve service provision and advance the mission of the county. However, we're not in a financial position to add any new positions at this time. I do recommend that we consider these in the future. Capital outlay. This budget includes a minimal appropriation for new capital outlay expenditures for the county. What we have budgeted are ongoing installments on previously purchased capital totaling $176,894 from general fund. This compares to the original capital outlay budget for FY '25 of $1,088,402. To meet critical capital needs, to leverage the North Carolina needs-based school capital funds for a major project at North Edgecombe High School, and to preserve cash flow, we propose the use of the county's debt capacity. The county is considering financing a series of facility improvements and equipment and vehicle purchases totaling $4,511,500. The capital projects considered for financing fall into these categories: facility improvements, $2,436,000; vehicles, $1,350,500; equipment for solid waste, $725,000; and the 5% match for the North Edgecombe project, $3.2 million. We anticipate seeking approval from the Local Government Commission for a loan to cover the facility improvements, vehicles, and equipment for solid waste in the fall of this year. We expect to seek approval for the loan to meet the county's $3.2 million match for the $64 million grant received for the North Edgecombe School Capital Project in the spring of 2026. Based on the anticipated timing for the approval and closing of both loans, we don't expect the new loan payments to begin in FY '26 and therefore are not included in this proposed budget. However, being that the timing may change and may ultimately begin in FY '26, I wanted to make the board and the public aware in this budget message. Outside agencies. The total requested by outside agencies for FY '26 is $21,049,514, which is $5,242,035 above what is allocated in the current year, including the $200,000 in discretionary funding for our Getting Off the List initiative. The total recommended for outside agency funding is $15,805,423, a slight decrease of $2,056 from FY '25. As with the FY '25 budget, we have included $200,000 in discretionary funding to align with our Getting Off the List initiative. A request for proposals was published to solicit applications from agencies who may address one or more of our 4 identified focus areas, which are affordable housing, health equity, education and workforce development, and youth and families. These proposals will be reviewed by staff to determine which will best create positive impacts in one or more of these focus areas. We will evaluate proposals based on their effectiveness and the clarity of the plan presented to achieve meaningful outcomes, and then make recommendations to the board at a later time for awards up to $25,000 per agency. As you know, the Brattleboro Volunteer Fire Department has requested an increase in their fire tax from 12 cents to 14.5 cents per $100 in value, which you just approved. Edgecombe Works. To continue advancing our vision of Edgecombe County and address our persistently high unemployment rate, we propose continuing the 4 Edgecombe Works initiative in FY26 in partnership with Edgecombe Community College. These programs have provided pathways to employment for our citizens by giving assistance to overcome financial barriers to education and training. It has also provided tools for us as an employer to attract, retain, and train good team members. The Edgecombe Works initiatives includes the Earn As You Learn program. This provides incoming and existing county employees in select hard-to-fill positions with the opportunity to gain work-related credentials while they work for the county. The total budgeted for that is $17,000. The Edgecombe Works Promise program. This offers scholarships for select training programs to recent high school graduates, county employees, and those unemployed to help fill funding gaps for community college. That's total budget of $102,000. The Edgecombe Works Office Skills and Hands-On Skills Academies. This offers training through the academy model where continuing education classes are stacked to offer valuable in-demand job skills for county employment, $26,000 budgeted. I do want to note here that I believe maybe at our last meeting, or maybe 2 meetings ago, you approved a revision to our agreement with the community college so that this program could be open to those who are Edgecombe residents who are unemployed and are working with or referred to our career navigator. So you had approved us expanding that. We're also looking at, we'll bring back to you at another time, and actually a suggestion of Mr. Wiggins, I thought was a very good suggestion, that we also open this up for employees of the community college and the school system. As a reminder, if you'll recall the MOU that you approved, the amended MOU, Edgecombe employees are given first opportunity at seats in those classes when they're done, and they're usually done 1 a year of each of those. But if there are still seats available, that we will make them available to those that are clients of our career navigator. And if you agree, again, I'll bring the MOU back to you at your July meeting to open that up to also the community college and school system staff members. Working Edge Academy. This offers career-related academies for high school students. Components include industry-recognized skill development, apprenticeship opportunities, career exploration in healthcare fields, and entrepreneurship training, and a youth-focused Citizens Academy, and that's $35,000 budgeted for that. We have seen the value of these initiatives, and therefore funding at those same levels is included in the FY26 budget. Our enterprise funds. In our solid waste, and by the way, for the public's understanding, enterprise funds are services that are not required of a county to provide, but are provided with the goal of that the fees that are generated, revenues generated by that fund cover the cost of that fund. So our 2 enterprise funds, or our 2 enterprise operations, are solid waste and utilities, water and sewer. So first, solid waste. The cost of operating the solid waste department continues to exceed the revenues generated. The FY26 budget includes a general fund transfer to solid waste of $1,039,970. A key driver of increased expenses is the rising cost of transporting municipal solid waste and the tipping fees related. We have received notice that the fee, which includes transport and waste disposal for the regional landfill where our municipal solid waste is transported, will increase by 5.2%. Therefore, the FY26 budget includes a proposed $4 per ton increase in MSW tipping fee to $79 and an increase of $25 to $150 for the household solid waste fee.
Now, this fee is for the county residents who use it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
County residents that live outside of our municipality. Water and sewer. Revenues have continued to cover expenditures in our water and sewer utilities department. However, we have received a notice of a rate increase from our 2 water suppliers, that being Tarboro and Rocky Mount. Therefore, this budget proposes a rate increase for our customers of 5%. The budget also includes $145,000 in capital outlay appropriation from the utilities reserve for the purchase of 2 trucks and a sewer transfer pump. So in conclusion, though many important and needed items were either funded below needed levels or left out entirely, I am pleased to present a balanced budget that reflects many of the board's priorities. My staff and I will continue to diligently serve our citizens and advance our mission of Edgecombe County being a historic place that values its citizens and natural resources and creates opportunities where people are proud to live, work, and play for generations to come. I hereby respectfully present the budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
Any questions of the board? Hearing none, now you move on to the outside agencies in terms of.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So as you know, we are required to identify any conflicts of interest. Those board members who have a conflict of interest of an outside agency that we propose to fund have to identify that conflict, be excused from voting on that particular item, and then the remainder of the board can vote on that particular outside agency. So those that I'm aware of, I'll call it out to the board. What we'll ask you to do is to first take a vote, motion and second and vote to ask that board member to be excused. Then you will vote on that particular budget item, and then we'll move on to the next. So the first, there are actually 2, would be Commissioner Harris for both the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, on which she serves on boards, as well as Edgecombe Community College. I don't know if anyone else that has a conflict for either of those 2 outside agencies.
Is there a motion to excuse Ms. Harris from those 2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Powell, second by Mr. Webb. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Ms. Harris is excused now.
So then the recommendation would be to approve an outside agency funding to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners the amount of $7,425, and for Edgecombe Community College the amount of $2,072,249.
A motion to approve, do I have?
So moved. Second.
Second, motion by Ms. Powell, second by Mr. Boswell. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next.
The next would be Commissioner Thorne, who's a board member for Caroline's Gateway Partnership.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Boswell, second by Mr. Webb. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye. Mr. Thorne is excused. Now the next motion is to approve what?
The motion is to, recommended motion is to approve funding to Caroline's Gateway Partnership in the amount of $310,000.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Harris, second by Ms. Powell. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Thorne is excused.
Next will be for Commissioner Webb for the Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government. He serves on their board.
Is it motion by Mr. Boswell? Is it second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Powell. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. All opposed? Mr. Webb is excused. Next motion, do I have a motion to approve the recommended, $22,071
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
for Upper Coastal Plain Management? Do I have that motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Boswell, second by Ms. Harris. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And so now, Mr. Chairman, the action of the board would be to approve the budget ordinances that are included in your packet. For your clarification, for understanding of the public that are here, it is a collection of budget ordinances, first being the general fund and school capital ordinances, or ordinance, I should say. That includes the budgeted revenues in those categories that are listed in the ordinance, as well as the expenditures in those categories that are listed in the ordinance.
Now, does that clear the way for the total board to vote on it, Mr. Peters?
Yes, sir.
The total board can vote on the budget.
And it will be, and I think you can vote on all of these ordinances together.
Okay.
The second will be the custodial funds ordinance, and this will be for the taxes that we collect on behalf of the municipalities in the county for which we collect taxes. It identifies both the budgeted revenues and likewise expenditures. Basically, we receive those and we send all except for the 3% that fee that we charge for that. Also in your packet are the special revenues, revenue fund ordinance. You will see that includes the fire taxes that we collect on behalf of all of those fire departments, and the revenues for that and expenditures being that we basically turn those over to those fire departments. You also have the solid waste ordinance. The solid waste ordinance includes the tipping fees by category. You'll see the tipping fee schedule in that, as well as the anticipated revenues and expenditures. And then you have the water and sewer operations ordinance. It also includes the recommended fee schedule for FY '26, as well as the anticipated revenues and expenditures by districts. As you know, we operate a countywide water and sewer system, but it is broken up into 6 different districts. So the recommendation is to approve those ordinances as presented.
Now, the motion will be to recommend that we approve the budget as presented, is that correct?
Yes, sir, the budget ordinances.
The
as
budget
presented.
ordinance as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Boswell, second by Mr. Harris. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the budget ordinances as presented are approved.
Thank you.
Next, moving on.
Next, you have a recommended revision to our planning fee schedule. You'll see in your, I'll read, Mr. Durbin Spell, our planning director, has reviewed the fee schedule for the Planning and Inspections Department and has recommended the changes shown in the attached documents. These changes reflect some adjustments needed to better cover the associated costs, some to clarify the fee schedule, and others to add necessary fees that were not on the schedule. I recommend that you approve the revised fee schedule for the Planning Department to be effective July 1 of 2025.
And I'm going to ask for any questions before I ask for this motion, because I see there's some nice price of jumps in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if this fee schedule reflects counties around us, because some of them went up a little bit higher than others.
It does. Mr. Spell, he looks at those counties, he balances between what the costs are for us, staff time, and those kinds of things, as well as comparing to surrounding counties. And I think Mr. Spell would describe to you that we're somewhere in the middle of the counties that surround us.
Based on some of this, we're way behind.
We are.
Okay, in terms of, okay. Any questions in reference to proposed fee schedule?
My one question here, do we have to approve this now for it to be effective this year? Or could we wait and get a presentation of what our counties around us are looking at on this? It seems like a large jump in some of these categories.
Well, you don't have to approve it now. If you
Could we
want
get a
to
little
approve it, it will be effective whenever you approve it.
Could we get more detail at our July meeting and make a motion to approve that? That would be my personal comfort here.
Sure, we're happy to do that.
I think it would put us behind it if he's making a recommendation based on what he's already seen. It would be a loss of revenue to wait, okay, right now, in terms of the proposed fee schedule. I do know that they're pricey, and I'm seeing, some are doubling, but what is the pleasure of the board?
Can he explain any of that to us now?
Sure, I think Mr. Spell can come up.
Just a little bit, I mean, I'm asking, we're asking for 2 weeks. I mean, not asking for a month.
But if he has the information tonight, let him go and give it to you.
Well, I think our fee schedule, I can agree we're asking in terms of, it would not require any additional, because we're talking about a July meeting. But go ahead. It's not gonna make a difference because these fees are already in place until then. Go right ahead, I would agree.
Yes, good evening, Board of Commissioners. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, as we did take a look at our neighbors, Pitt County, Wilson County, just for example, for our residential building permit, which we recommend a minimum change to $80 for our residential building permit minimum, which is more in line with our neighboring local governments. Rocky Mount charges $80 for minimum building permit for all buildings, $10,000 or greater of value. And price in Tarboro, as to my understanding, is about similar. As for zoning permit, our proposed fee of $50 is lower of that of what the Rocky Mount charges, which is $60. Pitt County charges $50 for non-residential zoning permits. And Wilson County, their zoning permits start off at $65 for residential permits and go as high as $500 plus $25 per acre for non-residential zoning permits. So we were trying to line it up so that we fall in the middle. And yes, there is some doubling, but
Well, let me ask you
as I
this.
said, we
The
were-
most I see here is planned development. It's going from 200 to 500. Planned development, you
No,
propose,
that's planned development. Yeah, so that is a district, that's a rezoning process. And I believe that we looked at other counties, believe like Nash and Wilson, and that does.
that does
fall
fit
line.
in
Yeah.
terms of where they are?
Yes, yes, sir. But like, if the board want us to, bring more
Well, I
information.
think you have sufficient information here, but I would agree with Mr. Thorne in terms of, we can act on this and still not delay because we're dealing with we're not changing the fees tonight. We're changing them effective July, so we can do this at our July meeting. I would have no objection to that. Where's the board on it?
And just my personal opinion there, I mean, we can compare ourselves to Nash County and Wilson County all we want, but their budgets are completely different than our budgets. Their building is completely different than our budget. So I was presented this on Friday. I didn't know it was going to be a part of what we were voting on tonight. So I've reached out to some other kind of what I view contemporary counties to us to kind of see where we were. That would just be my only request.
Yeah, like Halifax, Northampton.
Well,
Or those
Similar
similar tax bases.
You reached out to them, but did they respond?
Yeah, I had Friday afternoon to today at 6 o'clock, so I didn't really get a response.
So you don't know what they want.
hearing that, it appears that we will not take action on this tonight.
That'd be fine.
Put it in next month's budget.
Yes, sir.
And that doesn't mean I'm not gonna, just kind of want to see. We're trying to develop, I don't want to hinder any development because we're going to charge a fee to do something that someone else isn't doing.
Not a
So is he
problem.
gonna send us, or we have to do this individually?
Oh, no. In your agenda packet, we'll have a comparison with other counties.
Thank you.
Move it on.
So next is, excuse me, regarding amendment number 4 to grant project ordinance for Water and Sewer District 6. Presented for your consideration is amendment number 4 to the grant project ordinance for the Edgecombe County Water and Sewer District 6 Water and Wastewater Systems Improvements Project. The attached amendment reallocates funds within the project budget but does not change the overall project budget. It's recommended that you approve amendment number 4 to the grant project ordinance as presented.
Motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Boswell, second by Mr. Webb. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
You have, under contracts, you have a change order and one contract. First one is change order 2 for A.R. Chesson Construction Company. This is for our new animal shelter. This is to correct the amount for the additional work that was added of a 6-inch water meter and related required by the town of Tarboro. you approved amendment number 1 was adding that line item. The price of that has adjusted, it has increased. However, it also reduces or eliminates items such as items as shown on the change order. The result is a net decrease with a total contract now of $4,974,776.61. So I recommend that you approve that. Second is a contract in the amount of $132,175. This is for hydrant repair and replacement as a part of Water and Sewer District 6. This is funded through USDA Rural Development Grant and Loan. I will note that you have at your place an updated copy of the contract. It is a clearer copy so that you can see better, and there were a few corrections that were made. The overall amount of the contract did not change. Happy to answer any questions, but recommend that you approve that change order and contract as presented.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Boswell, second by Mr. Webb. Questions?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Where's the net decrease? I'm showing we're going from 4.925 to 4.974 for an increase of 49.
That's the original contract price. But if you look at the line right below.
If you look at it, it's
after
there.
the change order number 1 is $5 million, and now we're decreasing that to 4.9. The original contract price was 4.9.
And then change order number 1 took it up to $5,005,191.20. And then this change order number 2 decreases it by $30,414.59. So it is a net decrease from the amended contract, not the original contract.
Do we have a contingency fund on that?
Any other questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, as approved. That appears that we have gone through this agenda, and this being a special meeting, there's nothing else that we can consider, is that correct?
That's correct. I would like to make an announcement if I could. No action.
Is that permissible? Okay. Go right ahead.
You do have at your place a copy of the flyer. The Tarboro River Bandits will be hosting the Virginia Beach Valor on June 27th. It is Edgecombe County Employee Night. So if you show your Edgecombe County ID, you get go in half price.
I get to throw the first pitch.
And that was my next question was, I'm sure they're going to be asking who would like to throw the first pitch, so.
We have already two one.
That's right. It was a strike, too.
if they ask what you like-
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved in second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye. Aye. All opposed, we stand adjourned. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the quickest meeting that I've been in.
I'll
You'll throw it?
Say what, you'll throw?
Yes, sir. I ain't played softball for 30 years for nothing.
That was an underhand
I couldn't,
pitch.
I wouldn't even be able to do that one now.
Second ball, that was,
fast
we did slow pitch. You did fast pitch?
pitch. No, never.